What is up, people? What is up, people? This is Abraham Walker with another edition of Where to Live in Northern Virginia, late night edition, right? Late night talk. I've been super busy on my end, so getting to these videos has been a bit of a challenge. But when I do have time, at the end of the day, when my kids are sleeping, the missus is down as well, and I can kind of do a little recap for you all. Tonight is a topic that I really just walked one of my friends through. One of my Facebook friends reached out to me. They noticed some success I was having with some of my buyer clients, and they expressed that they were having some challenges in the real estate market. They were trying to buy a house right now, and they've been going $50,000 to $100,000 over asking price, and they've been losing 15. They lost 15 offers in a row, which is devastating, right? The reason why that's devastating is because consumers are not used to rejection like real estate agents or salespeople are, right? So, like, say for instance, myself, I get a good dose of rejection every day because I'm constantly looking for business. But if you have a 9 to 5 job, you don't have that much rejection throughout your day, throughout your life. So to have 15 of those rejections stacked back to back to back can be quite devastating. So I told her, this particular Facebook friend, I said, hey, look, why don't I help you with the strategy that we use, walk you through the strategy we use with our clients. And it's going to seem a little extreme, but you got to think about it from the perspective of what you're doing right now isn't working. So if what you're doing right now isn't working, then don't do more of it, right? We have to pivot. We have to look for an alternative, right? And so this what this video is about. This is what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about some extreme ways to find houses, to find your dream home. I'm not going to guarantee anything, but I will say this. If you follow these steps, you increase your chances of finding that ideal property by tenfold. And the reason why you increase your chances is because you're already doing what other people aren't doing, which means you're going to get what other people don't get, which is a house right now, right? With all these offers going out on all these properties, a lot of people are going to be continuing to rent their houses. They've been renting wherever they are. Are they going to stay in their smaller home or larger home? Whatever their plans are going to be, their plans are going to change because they're not going to be able to find a house. But if you follow these steps in this video, you should be able to find what you're looking for. So again, my name is Abraham Walker with and this is Where to Live in Northern Virginia, where we primarily focus on either doing tours of Northern Virginia or walking you through the home buying or the home selling process in Northern Virginia. That's what this channel is all about. So every now and then we do some videos that are about tips and tricks that you can use. And just know this, watching this video doesn't mean you're going to use my services, right? And also, I just should say this, I'm not an attorney and I'm not your real estate agent. I may be your real estate agent, but for the individuals who I'm not working with, I'm not your real estate agent. So watch this video and you can use these tips with your agent, right? Yeah. I mean, now if your agent hasn't started talking to you about some of these alternative methods, they may be opposed to doing some of these ideas because you're about to get into some work right now. But there's nothing to stop you from doing this yourself, right? So let's say if you have a lazy agent, you have an agent who isn't interested in doing anything but what they're doing right now, use this strategy yourself. Use your own money to execute this idea, and you should still see some results, okay? If you do want to talk about using our services, there is a perfect home questionnaire right down below in the description. Fill out that questionnaire, and then we can schedule a Zoom session to talk about all of your needs. Okay, we got the commercial out the way. Let's get into the content. All right, so the first step is, and this is, I would say that we're going in order of effectiveness, right? So we're going to talk about the most effective strategies on the front end, and then the least effective strategies on the back end. Now, there's three categories for these strategies, right? Three bubbles I would place these in, right? The first section is going to be target groups. Second section is going to be Facebook groups. Third section is going to be Facebook ads. Okay. And we're going to talk in detail about all three. Good. Okay. All three of those options. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about target groups. With target groups, what you want to think about is who are the individuals who are most likely to sell their homes in this market, right? Who's most likely? What homes are already coming on the market? Well, when we're walking through properties, we usually notice that some of the houses either have like children's belongings, or maybe it is children, like young children belongings, or it is older children belongings, right? Which means that if it's young children, maybe the individuals are outgrowing their homes. If it's older children home belongings, maybe the individuals are starting to either downsize or upsize their properties to fit these larger humans into the homes, or maybe it is an older family or older individuals who live in a property, and maybe they're downsizing, right? So we have individuals who move in from different stages of life. So what we want to do is we want to put together a list of those individuals in a specific neighborhood. And I should say this, I haven't said this yet, but these strategies that we're talking about right now, this only works if you know where you want to live. Okay. You cannot use this strategy if you have multiple places that you believe are going to be ideal for you. So when we're even bracing our clients for this strategy, it usually takes them a couple weeks or a couple months to get to the point that they even are ready to use this strategy, because most people do not know where they want to live. Once you narrow down where you want to live, I mean the street, hopefully you have a couple street addresses, a couple street names, subdivision names, like you want to know specifically where you want to live, and then use these strategies we talk about in this video. Whoa. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so back to target groups, right? So we're thinking about people who are most likely going to sell their properties, and these individuals are in different phases of their life, right? So let's talk about how we're going to find these individuals, right? If you're working with an agent, this is going to be easy for you to determine because we have access through the MLS. We have access to the tax data records, right? So the first group we're going to look for is individuals who have owned their homes for 4 or more years, right? So this video is being produced in 2021, but this information, you'll be able to use this strategy for years to come. So we're in 2021, so we're looking for individuals who have owned their homes starting in 2017 and moving backwards, okay? So from 2017 backwards, we're going to put those individuals in a list for a specific area. So to make this scenario more concrete, I live in Kingstowne. We do a lot of business in the Kingstowne area. So let's say that we have somebody that wants to live in Kingstowne, and they've been losing out on offers in the Kingstowne area, which is very likely because a lot of the Kingstowne properties right now are all getting multiple offers. Okay, so you want to move in Kingstowne, and we're targeting let's say townhouses. We're targeting townhouses that are 3-bedroom townhouses, right? Because we have to get real specific when we are doing this type of this targeted campaign. Once we get to that townhouses, 3 bedrooms in Kingstowne, then we're looking for those individuals who have owned their homes ever since 2017, right? That is a simple search in the MLS. If you're not working with a real estate agent, which I don't know why you wouldn't on the buy side, you can go to data brokers to get this information. I think it'll cost you anywhere from 6 to 8 cents per lead, all right, or per data entry. Like I said, I don't know why you wouldn't just use your real estate agent's access to the MLS, because we already have that access, but that's your prerogative. Okay, so once we get, that's our first list, right? So that's our first target list. The second target list we're going after is absentee owners. So these are individuals who have mailing addresses that are not the property addresses. The assumption that we're going off of, or the assumption that we have, is that these individuals are renting their properties out. Now let's talk about the advantages for both of these individuals to respond to anything you send to them. The first advantage is that they'll save money on the listing agent commission, right? Because you're working with the buyer's agent, so they're already going to pay a buyer's agent commission, so they know they're not going to save that money. But they could save 2 or 3%, whatever the listing agents are charging these days, on the listing agent commission, which in the Kingstowne area for a 3-bedroom townhouse could be, 15 to 18. Well, let's say $12,000 to $18,000 on the commission. That's a nice chunk of change. The second reason that they would probably want to respond to this piece of communication that you're about to send to them, that we're going to talk about soon, is they also don't have to repair their houses and get their houses show ready, right? They don't have to get their houses market ready, which is an advantage for them because, they don't have to deal with contractors. They don't have to deal with scheduling. They don't have to deal with showings, right? They don't have to deal with multiple agents coming through. They don't have to deal with offers, all the complexities that goes along with the offer process. Those are the two main reasons why somebody would even entertain this idea. Now that we have our 2 list, right? So we have our target group of homeowners who have been living in the property for 4 or more years. We have our absentee owners, right? Who are most likely renting out the properties or maybe using the property as a second home. We want to move to our marketing plan. What we're going to do is we're going to do a 4-week marketing campaign. It's going to be called a 4x4, right? A 4x4 is a 4-week marketing campaign where you send out one piece of content or one piece of marketing material every week. Like I said at the beginning of this video, this is an extreme method for individuals who are serious about finding a property. Do not watch this video, cut this video off if you would just like to look at all the houses that are in the MLS and continue to place offers that are not winning, okay? Now let's talk about the marketing campaign. First week, we're going to send out a mailer. The mailer is going to be a letter. The letter is going to be targeting and speaking to your target market. So because we have 2 different groups of individuals, we're going to have 2 different letters. The first letter is going to be to those individuals who have been living in their properties for 4 or more years. Okay. Now, in this letter, you want to spell out what you've been going through up to this point in time, right? If you've already lost out on a couple offers, then you want to say that in this letter, right? If you have a child that goes to one of the schools, or you want to go to one of the schools, say that in this letter. If you have a desired commute and you know that this community will allow you to have that commute, say that in this letter. You want to also spell out your pre-approval, right? You want to let them know who your loan officer is. You want to give them the contact information for your loan officer. I would also suggest including your pre-approval letter in this letter, right? You're trying to give this individual, right, the homeowner, a compelling reason to reach out to you without talking to their listing agent, because it's a fact that if they reach out to you, they're going to lose money. Do you know how they're going to lose money? I'm glad you asked. They're going to lose money because in this market, offers, most houses are getting bid up. They're having multiple offers. So that means that if somebody responds to your letter, right, or your campaign, then they're not going to be operating in an open market. They're going to be in a closed market. Closed markets negatively impact the seller's bottom line, but it positively impacts your bottom line, which is why I'm talking to you. So remember, in this letter, you're spelling out everything, right? You're going to let them know the range. So now I know what some people are saying. They're probably thinking to themselves, Abraham, I don't want to let the seller know how much I'm approved for. And to this, I say, why? Why does it matter? You're just saying that you're approved to a certain dollar amount. You're not saying that you're going to give them all of those dollars, right? The goal is to entice them to reach out to you. You know you won if somebody reaches out to you. We're doing whatever it takes, right? So we have this letter, right? The letter for both target groups is going to be similar, but just remember, you're playing on different it's a different angle depending on who you're talking to. The target group that lives, remember, our target group of homeowners who actually live in the property, they're called owner occupied properties. Those owner occupied properties, they have maybe an emotional connection to their property. So you want to play on that emotional connection in this letter. With the absentee owners, this is just a business for them, right? They may have lived in the property, they may have a slight emotional connection to the property, but most likely they have now transitioned this property into an investment property. Now that it's investment property, you want to speak to that angle, that market, right? Where you're explaining to them, okay, great. Look, I know that you are renting this property out, and what I would love to do is I would love to offer you a price and keep the tenant in place, right? You do not, okay, do not tell the landlord or the absentee owner that you want to kick the tenant out. That's a no-no. There's no reason for them to respond because they already know what will happen or what has to happen to break that lease that the tenant most likely has. So you're trying to get a landlord to respond to you, and you're trying to sell them on the idea that, hey, look, I'll just take over this property. I want it so badly that I'll just keep the tenant in place, and then once the tenant leases up, then you move them out of the property. Now, this strategy is a little bit more challenging if it's an absentee landlord because your loan is most likely an owner occupied loan that you've secured through your lender. And that owner occupied loan says that you have to move into the property in 60 days after closing, right? So that means that only a few of these landlord or absentee owner properties are going to work for the strategy. But our goal is to target as many people who are likely to respond. Okay, so that's our first week of marketing materials, right? Remember, this is a 4x4 campaign, 4 pieces of content over 4 weeks, 1 piece of content every week. The next marketing piece that we're going to send out is actually your physical energy. Now, this could be done by your real estate agent, or this could be done by yourself. Your real estate agent is most likely going to say that they're not interested in doing this because most real estate agents do not like this next activity. Actually, most real estate agents don't like the week 2 or week 4 activity. Okay. Now, the next activity to do is to door knock. Now, I know that some areas, if you're watching this in Virginia, we still have some restrictions due to coronavirus. So you can replace this door knocking with phone calls. So you're going to call the individuals, and you can do a reverse lookup with some programs. Your real estate agent will be able to, in Northern Virginia at least, your real estate agent will be able to do a reverse lookup through a system called Remind that they have access to through the MLS. Reverse lookup. So you're doing this reverse lookup. You're going to either door knock these individuals, which is really like knock, 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 knock on their physical door, or you're going to call them. And the script is very simple, right? Because you're doing this 1 week after you've already sent out your letter. Hi, Miss Homeowner. My name is Abraham Walker. I sent you a letter in the mail about purchasing your home. Did you receive that letter? Right? Because what you want to find out is, did they throw away your letter? Because if they threw away your letter, then you have to actually educate them on why you're at the door. If they read your letter, then you want to find out, okay, great, you read my letter. I knew you wouldn't come to me, so I came to you. That's a line from Diana Kokoska. So what do you think? Are you interested in selling your house to me? Now, what do you bring? So if you're door knocking and you're using this strategy, what do you bring with you during your door knock? One, you're going to have copies of your pre-approval letter. Okay. If you've already lost out on homes where you were overbid, and it was multiple offer situation, but you lost out on the property, then bring one of those contracts with you. So you're going to print out one of those contracts in Northern Virginia, several pages, and then on the first page you're going to write loser in red marker, just loser, and you want to bring it as like a prop, okay? And you want to have those two pieces of material with you, right? So you're bringing maybe 20, 25 copies of your pre-approval letter with you because you want to hand those out. Those are like that's like your I'm serious about this, right? And then you're going to give those to the homeowners. And then that's it, right? And then you want to see where the conversation goes from that point on. A lot of people are not going to be interested in moving because, just to be honest, people usually move every 7 to 11 years in general. So you're looking for a diamond in the rough. That's our goal. After you finish this conversation, either through the phone or via door knocking, don't hang up until you ask them, well, who do you know that may be interested in selling their home soon? Because remember, our goal is to get to the homeowners before the listing agent does. Whoa, I've been talking 21 minutes already. My goodness. We still have a lot of content to cover. Okay, so next up. So we got through that's week 2 of the 4x4. Week 3 is going to be another piece of mail, preferably a postcard, but you could send another letter. In this postcard / letter, you're going to update them on your search, right? This is where I would actually tell people what you're doing to find a property, because if you can get people to buy into your story that you're serious about finding a property, then you're going to get people to talk about you. If you can get people, especially in the neighborhood that you want to move into, to start talking about you, then the word will spread quicker. And you got to be honest with yourself. You've probably never heard of a individual, a buyer doing all this activity. So people will talk. When you do the postcard, preferable that is not a polished postcard. It's something that looks maybe homemade or not well. The graphics don't look as well, because you got to think that most people receive postcards in the mail, and those postcards are clean. They're professional. They look like they're part of a campaign. Those postcards used to go in the trash quickly. But if you could find something that stands out, that's the goal. The goal is to stand out because you're trying to get them not to throw your piece away. Okay, so that's week 3 of our 4x4. Week 4 is going to be another phone call or door knock session, right? Whatever your comfort level is. Again, on this phone call, you want to ask the same thing. Hey, did you see my piece? Did you get my piece? You're going to really be calling through your list to find to the individuals who you have not spoken to, right? Because some of the individuals you spoke to on your first phone call or door knock session, they've already let you know what their stance is on the market, right? And that's it. So that's our 4x4 to our target group. The next 2 sections are going to go just a little bit faster. I know this took about 20 minutes or so to get into. But before we jump into any more content, do you have any questions that you want me to get through right now? Please post them right now in the chat. I'll give that a couple seconds. If I don't have any questions that come through, then I'll roll into the next tip. All right, we'll give it a few more seconds and then we will roll into the next segment. All right, so we have no questions. Let's go into the next tip. Okay, first tip was we're going to focus on the target group. Now we're going to do a little bit of a broader search, which we're going to go into the Facebook groups. So when you go into the Facebook groups, you're going to find whatever location that you are moving into, and you're going to try to find the largest Facebook groups for that particular area. Excuse me. So remember, in this example, we're using Kingstowne. Kingstowne proper doesn't have a Facebook group, right? It's a relatively small community. It's a large subdivision, relatively small community. But Kingstowne is in Fairfax County and it's in Alexandria. Excuse me. So there are Facebook groups that target those two areas. You want to join those Facebook groups. Once you find those Facebook groups and you join those Facebook groups, do not post information about your home search. Not yet. What we want to do is we want to spend a couple of days looking at and just observing what type of content is inside these groups. Are these groups more informative? Are these groups more about the local market? Like what is being shared in these groups? And then you want to start to post a few pieces of content yourself in these groups, right? It's called priming the market. Gary Vaynerchuk calls it jab, jab, hook, right? Where you give, and then you ask for your favor. So the first couple of days, I would say the first 2 or 3 days, you're observing what other people are doing in the group, and then you're also trying to post comments or maybe answer any questions, because people can tell individuals who are just in groups just to take. You don't want to position yourself as a taker. That's the Facebook group idea. So it's a broader tactic, and I guess one thing we need to discuss is, what are you going to post when it is time for you to make your ask? You're really going to post almost the same information that you're using in your letter campaign or your 4x4 that we talked about earlier. Okay. So what you've been going through up to this point in the market, how serious of a buyer are you? Also, maybe what your deadline is. Add as much detail as you can, because you want people to buy into your story. If you have a wonderful looking family portrait, right? If you photograph well, add that to the list. If you do not photograph well, right? Yeah, I don't know if you know this or not, but don't add your photo. Okay, like only add your photo if you know it's going to make your case better. Okay, so that's the Facebook group. Now let's go to the last idea, which is Facebook ads. Okay, running Facebook ads is going to complement these last 3 ideas, right? Because Facebook ads allows you to target a specific area. Now, for real estate agents, when real estate agents are running Facebook ads, we have a 15-mile radius that we have to abide by. I'm not quite certain if that will apply to a normal human, right? Somebody who doesn't have a business that's focused on real estate. Now, for this idea, for this strategy, you will need a Facebook business page. Okay. Once you either set up your Facebook page, or if you have a Facebook business page, then you're going to run an ad to the geographic location that you're interested in moving in, right? And you're going to use similar campaign that you use in your 4x4. So remember, the Facebook ad campaign is not something that is going to create great results. Okay, this is more or less an idea to cement the marketing that you've already done, right? Because this is like a multi-tiered marketing campaign. You are trying to get people wherever they are to see that you are trying to buy their home. And some people only use mail, right? Some people maybe get some information from the phone calls or door knocking, right? Face to face, or they're in Facebook groups, or they're on Facebook, right? So you see, the goal or objective is to find these people wherever they are. right? And remember, this is an extreme idea. So this isn't for everybody. I don't expect everybody to do it. And I also don't expect don't remember your only ability in this idea is to focus on execution, right? You can't control the results. That's outside of your control. So the only thing we want to focus on when we're looking at this strategy is, okay, great, did I execute it? And that's it. So just to recap, we have target groups, which is individuals who have been living in that property for 4 or more years, or absentee owners, homeowners. We have a 4x4 marketing campaign we're going to use to target those individuals. Then the next group, our section, is the Facebook groups. We're going to join the local Facebook groups and then try to contribute and then make our ask in those groups. Lastly, we have Facebook ads, which are done through a Facebook business page. That's it. That's it for me. What do you think? Was this information helpful? I hope it was. And just know the goal with following the strategy is to bulletproof, right? Bulletproof your strategy of securing a home when you want to secure it. It's very likely that if you're working with a real estate agent, they have not mentioned any of these tactics because they do require some work. And if you could just sell a client a house from the MLS, why would you invest in this strategy? Another reason why a lot of agents don't talk about this strategy is because it costs money, right? And so there is an investment on the real estate agent side, and real estate agents compensation model right now is one where we don't get paid until the closing, right? And buyers are especially challenging in this market because if your agent makes this investment in you into trying to find your property, but then you decide on your own that you're not going to move forward, then the agent is out of that money, right? So there's a reason why agents stray away from even mentioning this type of tactic, because it's risky, right? It costs money, and most of our buyer clients, they don't pay us any money until the closing takes place, which can be several months from our first meeting. Okay, so that's it. My name is Abraham Walker, and this is Where to Live in Northern Virginia. I hope you enjoyed this late night session. I've enjoyed it. I'm so glad I was able to get this information out. Like I said, one of my Facebook friends was going through the blues. They lost 15 offers, and they just were tired of it, right? And they saw from my Facebook post that I've been having relative success with some of these strategies, and they reached out. And so over the last 2 days, I've been walking them through this strategy. And I thought to myself, you know what? I have the notes. I might as well just put together a video. And that's what this is. So now, if somebody asks me this in the future, I could just point them to this one location. And that's it. What do you think? Do you like this idea? Do you think this idea is too much? I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. Have you used any part of this idea before, right? Either in the past, or did you watch this video and you're planning on using it? Please let me know in the comment section. I do want to know what if you have some success with it, right? It's always good to know people are using your advice. Okay. So again, if you're looking for a real estate agent who is aggressive, assertive, and trying to win at any cost, reach out to us. You can schedule some time with me through the Perfect Home Questionnaire, which is going to be located in the description. Once you fill out that Perfect Home Questionnaire, we'll schedule a Zoom session, meet online, and I'll answer any questions that you may have about the Northern Virginia real estate market. That's it for me. Thanks so much. I'll see you on the next video. Peace. Oh, wait. Did anybody have any questions? I forgot to ask. Any questions? Throw them in the throw them in the comment box or the chat box. I'll stay on for one more minute, answer any questions. Okay, so I'm out. Peace.